What's good, Anime Nation? Today, I'm going to be doing another $5 a month plus patron rant. If you guys want to rant, drop me $5 on Patreon. I'll talk about whatever. In this video's case, I'm going to be talking about 3 skits from I Think You Should Leave, an absurdist sketch comedy show, per the recommendation of Aesop on Patreon. And this shit is funny as hell. I watched the last skit in, I believe, Season 1, Episode 3, Season 2, Episode 6, and Season 3, Episode 4 off the top of my head. And they were all really good. I'm a big fan of sketch comedy, particularly Key and Peele. I've been huge fans of them for a really long time. I think I've probably seen every single Key and Peele sketch at this point. And so, for whatever reason, I have this weird elitism where I'm like, man, nothing's touching Key and Peele, man. Key and Peele are the GOATs, undisputed. But you know what? I was weirdly not thinking I was gonna super love this. I really did. This shit was hilarious. All 3 of these skits were amazing. The first one is this girl, and she brings her new boyfriend over, and they play charades, and he just keeps putting in really obscure jazz artists from 200 years ago or whatever. And it reminds me of the Key and Peele sketch, of course, where it's accidentally comes out of the closet to his wife in the middle of a charades game and is really confused about it. It's just a really funny setting for whatever reason, and the character is so fucking good. It's just everybody knows someone. Seriously, to be a guy. To get a really nice girlfriend who really cares about you, all you have to do is be confident. And a lot of times confident people have absolutely zero self-awareness and they're just fucking insufferable. And you're just sitting there looking at your friend or looking at some girl or whatever, what the fuck are you doing, bro? And this guy was just a really fucking funny example of that. Absolutely 100% certain about everything he says, and then he just has this bizarre fixation on old jazz icons. The first one he brings up is he writes on the card jazz legend to preface who the person is during celebrity trivia. He's jazz legend Ed Mystic McKee or something. It's fucking stupid. Which is just really funny because it reminds me of all of those old people who just weirdly have a name in the middle of their first and last name in the NFL, in Madden. Aesop, who I talk to a lot outside of my channel, was telling me about this character, Ed Too Tall Jones, and he's just inexplicably apparently some legend with ridiculous stats in the game, but nobody knows who the fuck he is, and he just has a nickname that everybody's gonna refer to him as. It's a very specific thing. God damn, it's really hard talking about comedy, but first sketch was amazing. Second sketch was also great. It was about a girl getting her ear pierced, and she had to watch the educational video beforehand, which is supposed to ease the nerves of any kid who's nervous about a needle going in their ear or anything like that. And she's watching it with this adult who's really pissed off that he has to be watching this baby shit, and he just wants to go and get his ear pierced already. And so it goes through, it's got some real life examples of kids. They're I was a little scared at first, but then I got my ear pierced and it was so easy. I was so happy. There's nothing to worry about. They have so many choices here and it's so safe. And then randomly it just cuts to this old guy, this 60-year-old guy, and he just starts rattling off his entire life story. And it gets to the point where he's talking so much more than the other 2 child characters that are girls that would make sense to be in this kind of a promo video. Not promo video, preparational video or whatever you would call it. That at some point it just starts cutting them off. They'll be in the middle of a sentence and it'll just cut to him saying, and at that point we were just more friends than lovers. And then he starts having a mental breakdown on the TV. About how they say when you die, you go back through every single moment in your life, and you're able to just watch them back throughout the rest of eternity. And he's never had a true moment of bliss, a true moment where he was able to be vulnerable with just the emotion of laughter. Like he never had a moment where he was truly just caught up in laughter and happiness and joy. And so he pretends every day in the mirror, and he sits alone in a room and laughs to himself so that he can one day, as a dead person, trick himself into thinking he had a life worth living. And then he just starts laughing hysterically into the camera. And it's just like at this point, the not advertise, I keep mixing up what I want to call it, but at this point, the educational video has just totally abandoned the concept of showing any of the other things. It's just this guy's life story. And, the girl who was at first apprehensive about getting her piercing, she cracks a smile, It's nice because, I mean, at some point, what else can you do but smile? A lot of people laugh during awkward situations, and I mean, nothing more awkward than that. And hey, I mean, getting a piercing is not as scary as being such a miserable person that you have to laugh alone in a dark room for your entire life to try to trick your dead self into thinking that it was all okay. Last sketch was really good too. All three of these sketches were fucking hilarious. It's just so hard to, re-encapsulate the humor and like what makes it work. But this last one was like, this guy was at his daughter's play, and he meets like her friend from school's grandpa or something, and they happen to have the same shirt. And he's like really just dragging the joke. He's like, "Hey, shirt brother. Hey, man, this guy has good taste in shirts. Am I right?" Oh, man. Hey, we're shirt brothers, Oh, we came together. We're the closest here, And it's just like him being really awkwardly close with this guy. And then the guy eventually goes and finds him alone in a room that's just destroyed. Or like the guy's like, "Shirt brother, I fucked up. I fucked up real bad. You got to follow me over here." And he drags him into a classroom that's just fucking destroyed. And he's like, "I fucked up, dude. I went crazy. I just walked into this room and I just started going fucking crazy." And the guy's like, why? He's like, "I started listening to this new band and they have this song about how there's like no rules. I just don't even know what to think anymore." And the guy is so confused. And it's just like some generic fucking song about like, "Oh yeah, no rules. Yeah, we're going to party tonight. It's going to be so sick." And he's just like, the main guy's like, "Yeah, I think it's more of just like hyperbole, life can be a little bit dry and, sometimes you just want to let loose and spice things up a little bit." He's like, "No, I think there might not actually be rules." And then he's just absolutely, it's just ridiculous. There's a lot of jokes stacked on top of each other in this. It's not like a poor man's sketch comedy where there's just like one really good idea in a normal situation. It really evolves over the course of the sketch, especially in the instance of this one because it was the longest. It was like 7 minutes. It starts, with the guy who's just like weirdly acting close to you because of like one random, not that important detail. And it's just making you uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden it turns into this guy who's just doesn't understand what fiction is out of nowhere. And he's like crazy. And then it kind of loops back around to being wholesome in the end and just goes through so many tone shifts. It's great. I would never like promise anything like this because I'm just so bad at keeping my word when it comes to things along these lines. But I'm probably going to watch more of I Think You Should Leave. It's really fucking funny. And I recommend it to any of you anime gurus out there who looking for some good sketch comedy.